What if we told you that Lewis Hamilton just called out Ferrari in public, mid-race, with the whole world listening? In a moment that sent shockwaves through the Formula One world, the seven-time world champion didn't just hint at discontent. He went full throttle, exposing what he sees as deep flaws in Ferrari's race strategy, communication, and leadership. Live over the radio. Hamilton's tone turned sharp, his sarcasm unmistakable. And when the race was over, he didn't walk it back. Instead, he doubled down in post-race interviews and private exchanges that later became public. It was a bombshell moment, not just because of what he said, but because of how and when he chose to say it. For a driver known for carefully managing narratives, this was raw, calculated, and unprecedented. If you thought Hamilton's time at Ferrari would be a slow build, think again. This is no honeymoon period. This is a pressure cooker, and it's already threatening to boil over. The drama started unfolding early in the Miami Grand Prix. Hamilton, running a strategy that put him on hard tires first before switching to mediums, found himself behind teammate Charles Leclerc, who had stayed on hards longer. By this point, in the race, Hamilton was faster. The natural call led him through to chase down the cars ahead. But instead of issuing the order immediately, Ferrari told Hamilton to stay behind and use Leclerc's DRS. That decision made little tactical sense, and Hamilton knew it. His reply? Ice cold and surgical. So you want me to just sit here the whole race? It wasn't just frustration. It was a direct challenge to the strategic judgment of the Ferrari pit wall. Moments like these don't just appear out of nowhere. They reflect deeper tensions, questions about how much control the driver really has, and whether the team is aligned on what winning actually looks like. Eventually, Ferrari relented. The call came to swap positions, allowing Hamilton to pass Leclerc. But by then, the damage had already been done. Running in dirty air behind Leclerc for several laps had caused Hamilton's tires to degrade, reducing his performance and eroding the advantage of the fresher compound. When he finally got free air, the car in front, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli, had built up a 5-second lead, a gap that would prove nearly impossible to close under the circumstances. This wasn't just a tactical error, it was a masterclass in how hesitation at the top can nullify any edge a driver has on track. Hamilton, who thrives on precision and timing, was now left chasing shadows. What should have been a coordinated, performance-enhancing strategy instead turned into a frustrating exercise in futility, costing the team valuable time and positioning. The situation deteriorated further when Ferrari made another puzzling call. Leclerc, having regained pace, began closing in on Hamilton again. Instead of allowing Hamilton to press on and challenge the cars ahead, the team ordered a reversal of the earlier swap. Now, Hamilton was being told to let Leclerc back through. It was a baffling move, one that erased any sense of direction from the pit wall. Hamilton's sarcastic response summed it up perfectly. "So you don't think I can catch up or what?" He followed that with another stinger. "Have a tea break while you're at it." A mocking reference to the team's slow decision-making. This wasn't a driver losing his cool. This was a deliberate public demonstration that he had lost faith in the system guiding him. It was Hamilton using his platform to highlight the chaos, not hide it. Following the race, Hamilton didn't tone things down. In fact, he turned the volume up. Speaking to the media, he criticized the team's indecisiveness and called for urgent change. "You're sitting there with all the data. Make the decision. Quick! We're in the car. We're in the fight. And we're computing a million things." That statement carried weight. It wasn't a heat-of-the-moment comment. It was a structured message meant for the people in charge. He reminded everyone watching that while the engineers and strategists have the tools, It's the drivers who risk everything with every lap. When that relationship breaks down, when communication turns to confusion and data doesn't translate to timely calls, it's not just bad racing, it's institutional failure. And Hamilton made sure that failure was on full display. The behind-the-scenes fallout wasn't far behind. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur reportedly went to Hamilton's garage after the race for a private chat. But even that turned into a headline. Hamilton told reporters he simply placed a hand on Vasseur's shoulder and said, "Dude, calm down. Don't be so sensitive." It was a moment that, on the surface, seemed light, but in context, it revealed just how strained the relationship has become. This was no longer a matter of driver versus race strategy. It had escalated into a philosophical clash over how Ferrari operates and what kind of leadership is needed to win championships. Vasseur later tried to downplay the situation, but even he admitted the team's decision-making during the race was less than ideal. Hamilton, however, wasn't interested in softening the edges. His message was already out there, and it was cutting deep. This Miami saga is not just an isolated case of race day miscommunication. It's the culmination of a pattern, weeks of questionable strategy calls, mixed signals, and avoidable setbacks. Ferrari's issues are no longer just about raw pace. They're about execution, leadership, and whether the team can truly function as a unit under pressure. The Miami race exposed that cracks are forming, cracks that could widen quickly if not addressed. For Hamilton, the stakes are personal. He joined Ferrari for a fresh challenge, hoping to write a historic final chapter in his legendary career. But what he's finding instead is a team still trying to figure itself out. A team that, in crucial moments, hesitates. In Formula One, hesitation is the enemy of victory. Hamilton made it clear that the issue went beyond race tactics. It cut to the heart of trust and fairness within the team. He pointed to the Chinese Grand Prix just weeks earlier, where he had moved aside for Leclerc without complaint, citing it as a gesture of mutual respect and teamwork. In Miami, he expected that goodwill to be returned. It wasn't. Instead, he was told to hold back, only to be let through too late, and then asked to swap again when the opportunity was already lost. These aren't just strategy misfires. They're moments that erode a driver's confidence in his team. And in a sport where split-second trust between driver and pit wall is everything, that's a dangerous place to be. The broader implications for Ferrari are significant. When your top drivers are bickering over positions mid-race, when sarcasm replaces communication, and when clear team orders become muddled reversals, the problem isn't just strategic, it's cultural. Ferrari's leadership must now confront the very real possibility that their structure is flawed. Hamilton's radio rants weren't random. They were methodical critiques of how things are run. And unless changes are made to streamline decision-making, unify race strategy, and rebuild internal trust, these problems will only multiply. A single poor decision in one race can cost points, but systemic confusion can cost championships. In the end, Miami was more than just a disappointing result for Ferrari. It was a turning point, a race that pulled back the curtain and revealed what many had suspected, but few had dared to say: that Ferrari is not yet ready to support a driver of Hamilton's caliber in the way he needs. The SF25 may not be as competitive as the Red Bulls or McLarens, but its potential is being squandered by slow calls and internal misfires. Hamilton summed it up himself: "I'm not going to apologize for being a fighter. I want to win." That's the mindset he brings to every lap. But if Ferrari can't match that urgency and precision, this partnership, once seen as iconic in the making, could become one of the sport's most painful missed opportunities.